Hello children, welcome. This is class 10 English and today we are going to continue learning the poem How to Tell Wild Animals. In the last session we have completed learning the first two stanzas. I hope you have understood well, and if there are any doubts yet, you are always welcome to ask in the comment and you will be replied. And before getting into the next stanza of this poem, let's now recall what we have learned so far. As discussed earlier, this poem appreciates the diversity of animal kingdom and highlights the unique characteristics of different animals. And the poet has described all the dangerous attitudes of animals in a very humorous way, which actually is the beauty of this poem. And discussing about the first stanza, Asian lion is an animal who looks huge and terrible and who can give you the fear of death by its roar. And in the second stanza, the poet describes beautifully about a Bengal tiger who will eat you at any time, when you would definitely realize that that is the Bengal tiger. And moving on to the third stanza now. If strolling forth a beast you view, whose hide with the spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. He will do no good to roar with pain, he'll only leap and leap again. In this poem, the poet helps the readers to identify a leopard. He says, if you happen to walk in the forest, you might encounter a beast with the spots on his skin. Hide here refers to skin. When this wild beast will jump at you, you will understand that it is a leopard, as he will keep jumping on you and will tear you apart. Moreover, it will be of no use then to shout or cry with pain, because he will continue pouncing on you, that's attacking you, so you should be careful. Here, the poet is trying to describe the appearance of a leopard and how a leopard may behave when you happen to look at that. The rhyme scheme of this stanza is AB, AB and CC. Other than the rhyming scheme, the poet has used two more devices called as alliteration and poetic license. Poetic license, we have already discussed that it's a special permission to the poet to modify a word or phrase to make it expressive or rhyming. So that we can find in the last line of this stanza, leap and leap again. It's not actually a word leap, it's leap. The word leap is modified to make it expressive. So that is called poetic license. And in the same line, the same words are called as alliteration also, as the consonant L is repeated. L, leap, and again you have another leap. So alliteration, poetic license and rhyming scheme are the poetic devices used in this stanza. Now here we go with the next stanza of this poem. If when you are walking round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubt, I guess, he will give you just one more kiss. In this stanza, the poet says that when you are walking in your garden, your yard, you may encounter a creature there. When this creature hugs you very, very tight, then be sure it is a bear. The poet further says that if there is a doubt about that animal, you will find that the bear will embrace you, will hug you once again till death. And of course, we know that a bear is very soft, very gentle, and of course will give us a very gentle hug, but that will lead us to death, where we can realize that it's a wild bear. A hug that's supposed to be gentle is described as hard, as a bear's hug can lead us to death. And to let you know about the poetic devices used in this stanza, the rhyming scheme of this stanza is again AB, AB, C, C. And in two different lines, we can find that the device alliteration is used. In the third line, who hugs you very, very hard. the consonant H is repeated in hugs and hard. And in the fourth line of the same stanza we can see, be sure it is a beer. Be is used in two different words. Be, beer. So alliteration is another poetic device that is used in the fourth stanza. Now let's move on to the next stanza. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus, the crocodiles you always may tell from the hyenas thus. Hyenas come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. In this stanza, the poet helps to differentiate the crocodile from the hyena. He says that a hyena always laughs as it swallows its victim. A laughing hyena's voice is resembling a human's laughing sound. A crocodile, on the other hand, is said to shed tears while eating its prey. So here we can find a few new words like distinguish, you may know, it's to differentiate. And the second line, a word used there is novice. Novice is a person who is very new to something, a person who is very new to identifying animals. So to those people it may be different or difficult. But if you observe closely, there is a lot of difference between crocodiles and hyenas. Let's now see the poetic devices used in this stanza. The rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, C. And the second poetic device used here is alliteration. In the second line of this stanza we can find a novice might nonplus. The consonant N is repeated in two words. So that's called alliteration. And another poetic device used here is personification. We have already learned in previous classes. Personification is a style, an application where the poet applies the human qualities or behavior to a non-human thing. So here we can find hyenas smile and crocodiles weep. So generally these two behaviors are of humans, but here the poet has used for animals. So that is called personification. Now let's move on to the final stanza of this poem. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He has not any tears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, this the chameleon you see. In this stanza, the poet is trying to describe a chameleon. He says a chameleon is a small garden lizard. It does not have ears or wings, or it doesn't look like any other big animal. The poet further says, if you are unable to see a thing on the tree, then chances are there that a chameleon is sitting there. The poetic device used in this stanza is rhyming scheme, which is A, B, C, C. And as I am almost at the end of this session, I wish to help you recall what actually is the purpose of the poet Carolyn Wells in giving out this poem for us. The main concern of the poet is to help the readers, that is we, the people who are reading this poem, should appreciate, admire and understand the diversity of animal kingdom and the unique characteristics which every animal has. So to conclude with, we personally may have different animals at home and we may admire them, we may love them, we may take care of them. But here this whole poem focuses on wild animals. So here we can learn two different lessons. One is understand that every animal has its own uniqueness. Learn to appreciate and highlight the importance of wild animals and every animal. And the other is, if we happen to come across animals, there are certain ways where we can educate ourselves to identify them. So now let's just have a look at the summary of the poem in short before wind up. And that's all for this session, children. I hope you enjoy learning this poem with me. And as I always say, if you have any doubt regarding this poem, you are always welcome to ask in the comment and you will be replied. And of course, before I wind up, I have a question to ask you. You read this poem again yourself and just comment me one line that you like the most, probably with the reason why you like it. Looking forward to get answer from all of you. Till I meet you with another lesson. Take care. Bye bye.